Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. It is January 21st, 2021. No, 2022. And these are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. And we do the disclaimer use allegedly. Nobody's been convicted in a court of law yet. I guess Mr. Perry was upset about that. She can't just say use allegedly. And somebody told him, what is it exactly you think she should say, Mr. Perry? That's what everybody says. If there's other words you want used, I'm not going to lie for you. I've made that very clear. Apply the but for standard. But for his harassment, serious violation of my privacy rights. You do have the reasonable expectation of privacy in your house, Mr. Perry. Um, but for his unwanted contact, his stealing my money faster than I can make it. You know, Mr. Perry, people are starting to notice that something's wrong. She's too smart to be that broke. He's got her living on peanuts. No wonder she hates his guts. Listen, once you're in jail, I'll never be broke again. So what do you think I want? I want for you to get your hands out of my money, get your cameras out of my home. This is a cease and desist, Mr. Perry. It's a legal demand. Again. So I understand there's like 33,000 of those, Mr. Perry. I said don't contact me, and that's what I fucking mean. Get out of my phone. Get out of my computer. Get out of my life. You're not loved. You're not wanted. You're a butt-in. You're a wannabe. You're never the wanted one. I don't know what the hell your problem is, sir. I don't like you. I really don't. I've gone to great lengths to get as far away from you as I can get. Nobody owes you anything. You owe your wife, Jackie, an explanation as to what you do with your time all day. She's your wife. Go be with her. She's willing to sign her name on you. She's willing to stand by you all these years, despite this despicable piece of trash that you are. Whatever diseases you have, those are her problem, not mine. I don't want to deal with them. I'm sick of it. My family is sick of it. My friends are tired of you. Do not call another person and tell them when they can talk to me, when they can see me, what they're allowed to say, Mr. Robertson. That is not your call. You butt out. Apply the reasonable, prudent individual standard also. So we get this recording. These guys have been caught more than ever in their lives, in their crime. And they're not putting it together that when you bother me, that's what happens. That's the result of your actions. That when you do your desired outcomes. Was that your desired outcome? Everybody's asking me, how does she know who's telling, who the leaks? Is it Charles types in my phone today? I win. I'm like, wow, you can't get a date with me ever. I won't even talk to you on the phone. I said, get the fuck out of my phone. Quit hacking me. What did you win? 8 years, you're a rejected fail. You cannot get a date with me ever. Move on. Let go and move on. Act like a grown-ass man. I've been rejected. I just moved on. What the fuck difference does it make? You find somebody else. Where's Jackie when you're trying to pursue a woman that doesn't even like you for a decade? That's called stalking. Peeping and voyeurism is sex deviance. You're weird. You're just weirdo, and you don't have anybody to show that that's not what you're doing all day, do you? You don't have any proof. You can listen. You got a witness tampering problem like a motherfucker. Look what you've done to me. People are starting to notice. There's no way he's not taking her money. She's too smart to be that broke. Yeah, you think? Get your hands out of my wallet. So I guess on the 18th they had this big huge plan. I sent this email here to Carl Tepper when I'm in Dallas. Right after, it wasn't too long either, after or before. Let me see the date. It was a little before I sent the one to Michael Quinn Sullivan asking him to make Charles leave me alone. All I want is for him to leave me the fuck alone. His attention isn't wanted. All his contact makes my skin crawl and makes me want to throw up. Pisses me off. Pisses the 40 cops off. They gave me the McNamara email and that Fabian puzzle right there. I got the Fabian puzzle in jail. That's the man I want in my life, Mr. Perry. Not you. It will never be you. I don't know. I don't even know why you would think there would be anything romantic between us ever. I moved twice to get away from you, and I kept my mouth shut for 4 years. So you'd have time to act normal. Go be normal. Go work. You're going to have a whole lot more than some schmuck you threw up on the stand. You're going to have proof. You're doing anything but what I say. Video, something. Get out of my life. Get out of it. This email here was to Mr. Tepper. I didn't tell him what was going on. I didn't want to have to get defensive. I didn't want to hear an email back to me, you're crazy. Bullshit like that. So all I'm telling him is watch him. Watch Charles Perry when he's on his phone and on his computer. And then that way they'll catch him. Peeping, hacking, invading privacy in the most disgusting, horrible way one can do. Jeff Epstein's friends complained that he had hidden cameras in his house. His house, not theirs. They complained about it. They didn't like that. If an act is a criminal act, it's outside social norms. Society has decided we're not tolerating that. That means people don't like it when you do that. And when you do things people don't like, they're not going to like you. And eventually they're going to turn against you. And right now, the big thing is, how did she find out about the 18th, right? Mr. Perry, you're violating me, and I asked you to stop. You've got a sex weirdo problem. That's your problem, no one else's. I asked you to stop violating me, didn't I? 33,000 emails, the guy says the other day. I'm trading up all her emails where she caught him. These guys that gave me the McNamara email right here on the right, underneath it, the Fabian puzzle in jail, caught you and told me. 33,000 times, including last night. Let's just have somebody, what the mistake you've made with her car is you keep having people hit her. So now she can link that to us. Nobody gets hit that much, 2 years, and a brick's thrown at her. You're doing things to her. You're going to have somebody pull in front of her, and she hits them. And they'll be hard to prove. You were recorded last night talking about that. Recording after recording after recording. Mr. Perry, what did you think we're going to do that? Play that as entertainment at a party? Sir, that's being used already for court. Criminal case. Everything you do in civil court, even including mess with my money, so it's hard for me to meet the demands, that's going to be a criminal charge against you, sir. Are you not all there? What do you think we're going to do with those 33,000 recordings? I don't type up everything. I don't have time. I have a life. I work. I have school. I have a life. I don't want you in it. Mr. Robertson, do not call again anybody I know. Mr. Perry, you either. You guys are recorded every fucking time you do. Wiretap orders and leaks. Either way, we get what you just said, and you guys want to know: is it Al? Is it Kim? Is it Z? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Who's telling on me? Who's telling on me? Constantly, all fucking day long. Every time I try to pick up my phone and text anybody about anything, or do homework, or type up anything, Perry's typing in my phone. Is it this person? Is it that? Like yesterday, is it New Jersey police? Oh my God. Go away. They sit there and record you doing that. Get out of my phone. Go away. What is wrong with you? When you bother me, you get caught. 33,000 times that you know of. Because I don't type it all up, Mr. Perry. I don't have time. 33,000 times. You don't have an alibi. This right here, Mr. Perry has made some bizarre claims because he's really, really trying to make the argument that there are no police. Golly, how did I get this shit right here on the right? How do you get a puzzle like that to somebody in jail? I mean, I can do that by myself. I can't do that by myself. There's no way. The McNamara email, Mr. Perry, came from somebody you told what you were going to do to me, and he got so disturbed by that. He was so upset by that. When you do something that's illegal, that means society has rejected that behavior. We have said we're not tolerating that. That would include murder in the first degree of a police officer and the frame-up of another one. I knew Mike was drugged before that was out. That wasn't out. It's not okay. Your behavior is deviant. It's disturbing. It's offensive. It's creepy. You're weirdo. You need help. And you're caught. And you're never going to get a date with me. So please do tell me, what exactly do you think you won? Every illegal thing you do in civil court, sir, is not a win. That's about to be added to your criminal case. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? You think they're just going to charge you for one thing and this thing and that and not that? But he's trying to make the argument that there are no cops. Oh, there's no police. Somebody's just telling her. Go see if somebody's around her house. Go see if somebody's coming up to her door to talk to her, telling on me. Yeah, okay. I've been asked more than once. Did you talk to somebody in such and such? Lucky Miller was one. Did you talk to Lucky Miller in a strip club? You can talk to police on the phone, Mr. Perry. Secured phone, regular phone, any kind of phone. We were laughing at y'all last night. We were laughing our asses off at you people last night. You had somebody come look. See, you say you don't know where I live. You know exactly where I live. You got cameras in my house. You don't know legally. I have a protected address through the state of Oklahoma. You violated that one too. You violated that law too. You just can't stop yourself, can you? You don't have any self-control and you have a low IQ or something. I mean, I don't know what the hell your problem is. I asked you to leave me alone. I don't like you. You're not wanted. You're not loved. You disgust me. You disgust me. I think that you are consumed with a lie so badly that you are not even able to tell the difference anymore between fact and fiction, and you can't remember who you told what lie to, and that's starting to backfire on you in a very big way. So on the 18th, there, I guess they, we had a family Christmas thing, and I have not seen my family since 2019. Is it my family, Mr. Perry? You want to know, is my family telling on you? Are they? Is my family, my kids, everybody telling on you? Are they, Mr. Perry? Are you calling my family and telling them you're going to hurt me and you're afraid they ratted you out? Is that the question that you want to know? Because I did tell you, don't contact me and don't contact my family. Don't contact anybody I know. Every day for 8 years. And you did it anyway. You can live with your choices, right? You can live with your choices, can you? Don't contact me. I don't like it. Don't contact my family. I don't like that either. Don't contact anyone I know. I hate that. Leave us the hell alone. When a woman says, leave me alone, one time is all that should take. If you're in a bar and you're bothering and bothering and bothering and bothering and bothering the way that you bother me, sir, they'll kick your ass out. They'll have a bouncer come over and you're gone. Outside social norms. Illegal. People don't like it when you do that. You're caught for the first time in your life every time you fuck with me. 33,000. I had to go to a printer, professional printer. My printer couldn't handle it all. I'm looking through it all. I see nothing political. Nothing. Just one thing after another. Threat after threat after threat after threat after threat. Some of which he carried out or tried to. You keep having people wreck her car. You need to have somebody pull in front of her so she hits them. Then it's a little harder for her to say it was you. Except you were recorded talking about it, so now we know it was you. If you do that. Mike was drugged. I knew before that wasn't on the docket yet. It wasn't. Depositions weren't even taken yet. But guess what? There's a bunch of cops, Mr. Perry, that gave me that. They got that information. Went over to Pensacola and asked. Started talking. Started asking. And then they told me. He was drugged and he was not tested until he got to the hospital. And that is a Brady violation. What's he doing sitting in prison? Not a mark on him. Mr. Neely, officer, Manfred police officer Michael Neely, pulled off something no man has ever pulled off ever. While drugged, in respiratory distress, unconscious, beat someone to death and ended up with not a mark on him. And you reacted exactly like a killer would react. Exactly like a killer would react. You did not come out and say, we back the blue, man. We support police. And they need support right now more than ever. Let me deviate. I have a little bit of ADD, so sometimes I deviate, but I'm going to deviate on purpose right here for just a moment. We had a national crisis with our police. Derek Chauvin, on camera, very boldly and arrogantly, knowing he's being filmed. People crying and screaming at him. Please stop. Murdered a man. And the whole country watched him do it. He's white, the man is black. Killed him. Just like that. And to me, if it were me, I'd have charged him with premeditation. because he sat there for like 10 minutes and people are screaming at him, please stop. And that man was combative, and I saw that. Guess what? I promise you, Tulsa police have had the same thing happen, and they didn't kill the guy. So police are trained to handle situations like that without murdering the suspect or the arrestee. Are they not? I mean, I grew up in 3 generations of police. You're gonna have combative people sometimes. Sitting on their neck till they die is not the way you handle that. So I'm sure Tulsa police have had guys like that on drugs, wigging out, pushing, shoving, won't get in the car, won't do the. You don't see them on the national news that they leaned on him until they died. Derek Chauvin had training that he fucked up, and he knew it. He wasn't a new guy. He's not a rookie. He was training. He was training the men with him, the officers with him, and he did that anyway. So to me, it's first-degree murder. But they chose not to charge him with that. I'd have gone after him, because now what happens? We got the whole country blows up. Everybody hates the police. Nobody trusts police. And now you can't get people. There's no, the recruiting problems, and there's rapport problems, and it's a mess. And then you have COVID problems. There's so many problems with policing right now. The police cannot solve a crime if nobody trusts them. People are not going to report crimes if nobody trusts them. People are not going to provide information so they can close a case if nobody trusts them. And then you got crime stats that skyrocket. Because when you got a guy, let's say you got a guy that's breaking into houses, and he does it once a week. Let's say every Wednesday he fucking hits a house, and he's robbing people, and then in one time he hits a house and he kills somebody. Well, at the third or fourth time that he did this, and they're starting to figure out it's this guy, or they don't have any information. How do they stop the crime if they can't get anybody to give information? What if somebody got a plate number of the guy scoping out the neighborhood and nobody wanted to talk to the police? I don't like police. Can't trust them. So I'm not going to tell. They could have got the guy before he killed somebody, before he goes into the 5th house or 10th house and happens upon the guy still home, and he surprised him and he killed him. I mean, you don't know what can happen, but you end up with more victims. And that doesn't just cost the person who's the victim. That costs society. The consumers pay for the crime. Consumers pay for crime. We pay for it in our taxes. We pay for it in our the cost of insurance. We pay for it in many different ways. Medical treatment. The cost of healthcare goes up. Some people aren't insured, or the insurance company just won't fucking pay. I worked in medical for a long time, and I promise you, insurance companies try to find a way not to pay. They'll look for a reason, any excuse they can come up with not to pay. So I mean, and then that gets passed on to the consumer. So because the providers then have to compensate somehow, or they're going to go out of business. If you go into Walmart or Dollar General and prices are going up, you know why? In part that is, some of it might be gas prices, but some of it might be, the shipping costs and such, and cost of raising salaries for employees. But some of it is loss prevention. Somebody stole shit. Now they've had a financial loss. They got to pass that on. They're not going to go out of business. They're going to raise prices. So the cost of stalking victims is astronomical. Anybody can go onto victimsofcrime.org. They have a national stalking resource center, and you can pull up all those stats. Here's how much money it costs to be a stalking victim. Property damage, insurance, $300 per year per citizen. Insurance for crime. Every time somebody has to file a claim because their house got broken into. Every time I've had to file a claim because Charles wrecked my car. That's on him. But it's passed on to you, the consumer. You have him to thank for that. Him and David sit around in their meetings. Got recorded 33,000 times that they know of. And they tried to do it again last night. Let's have a meeting. You need to have somebody pull in front of her so she hits them this time. I've had like 5 car accidents in 2 years. Somebody hit me. So they finally decided that's not enough. We're going to have somebody pull in front of her. Because now it looks like you keep doing this. It's going to have to look like she did it. Last night recorded, Mr. Perry, because you won't leave me the fuck alone. When you fuck with me, you get told on. When you fuck with me, you get told on. So back with policing. When there's corruption, this stuff bubbles up. Derek Chauvin didn't wake up one day and decide to do that, did he? There was corruption there for a while. Nobody did anything about it. All that is necessary for evil men to triumph is when good men do nothing. All that is necessary for evil to triumph. Edmund Burke, I think, said that. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is when good men don't do anything. And then it bubbles up, and then it bubbles up, and then we have this blow up. Our whole country. It hit the whole country. And now nobody can get a cop. Nobody can get people to work as a cop. After that happened, the blow up with Derek Chauvin, you're getting police attacked. Police that had nothing to do with that. Police that are not like that. People just took it out on police as a whole. Man, that is not cool. You can't lump everybody in together. There's good cops and there's bad cops. There's good teachers and bad teachers. There are good doctors and good and bad doctors. But police departments do need to clean up their shit. Get rid of the bad ones. And when you recruit, and I know it's hard to get rid of the bad ones when you are having problems recruiting, but you're in a catch-22. You got to have to do it. You got to clean your shit up so people trust you again. And don't let guys like Charles Perry get away with murder. I'm sorry, but you failed on that, TPD. If you'd gotten him on, you shouldn't have handed my police report right over to the offender when I filed that first report on the 21st. And then 9 days later, I'm, by physical force, prevented and delayed from reporting the crime committed against me. I'm not given a blood test. The video is not given to Tulsa police. The chain of custody is interfered with. I preserved my texts. Everyone has seen my texts. Did you give me arsenic? Yep. You were trying to kill me? Yep. You won't subjugate. The femicide rate is very high. Hang on. The femicide rate is 75%. 75% of femicide rates victims are stalked first. So, LAPD has a threat management division where they take all stalking complaints in, because even a first-degree murder, even if it's not stalking related necessarily, look what BTK did. BTK was a very cold, callous serial killer who got off on torment of people, and buying, torture, kill was BTK. Dennis Rader, church boy, church deacon, married, happily married family man, except he wasn't. He was a sick, twisted motherfucker, and enjoyed watching people suffer. He got sexual gratification, he said, and when he's doing his allocution, he's describing his murders in great detail, like describing, I got up, brushed my teeth, went to the cleaners, picked up my clothes, went to work, came home. I mean, just like it's nothing. Like it was just no big deal. And one person got away. One victim decided to change her schedule. I guess he had sat and watched her, was about to go in and attack her. And she all of a sudden decided to go to a friend's house. And he was disappointed that his plan didn't work out. Disappointed he couldn't kill her. Wow. And I'm listening to that, and I'm going, oh my God, Jesus, what in the hell would cause someone to have that callous, cold kind of mind? I mean, I don't have, why would you do that? And so now we have, all kinds of Netflix originals where people like him are interviewed by criminologists and forensic psychologists, FBI profilers, and so forth, like trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with someone that they would do something like that. And Mr. Perry, I promise you, he's next in line for that. So is Mr. Robertson. I mean, leave people the fuck alone. You're not fooling anybody. We want a list of people you think you're fooling. It makes us laugh. See, if we know what you said, we have our ear to the ground in a whole lot of places, Mr. Perry. You're not fooling anybody. People tell you what you want to hear to your face. Something else completely behind your back, I promise. You're just not all there. So, with policing, you got to clean it up. You can't do corrupt shit. You can't allow a guy to get away with attempting to kill me Mr. Stalker. Here's the police report. I mean, I've never sought the name of the individual who did that to me. I haven't. That doesn't mean other people aren't. I, you know, I didn't come up here to pick a fight with you, TPD. I come from police. I mean, to me, police is family. There's a thing called cop family. Why would you do shit like that? So what happens is then the crime continues. And now there's more victims. And I'm prevented by physical force from finishing that complaint so that there's no final determination made on it. Because they didn't get my blood test, Mr. Powell. You didn't preserve my blood. You impeded me from giving it to Tulsa police so they could see what isn't. What is it? Does she have arsenic in her? What if Mr. Robertson is lying? What if it was opioids also? I mean, we don't know. Still, what exactly they gave me that made me throw up and get dizzy at work? What was it? Was it GHB? Well, I mean, what the fuck they give me? And then proving how you got to still link it to David and Charles, because they had other guys coming in. It might have been Dave's employees. It might have been his buddy from, his BFF from kindergarten. I don't even know. What I know is there were people coming in to a strip club to buy a lap dance and buy me a drink that I didn't know. And I would take one sip of the drink. One of them said he was from Florida. I'll never forget this guy. He said he was from Florida. I take one sip. I get very dizzy, very headache, metal taste in my mouth. I'm about to throw up. I wouldn't take another sip. And I looked at him and I go, all of a sudden I have a headache. And his mouth dropped open. He goes, I do too. I got to go. And he bailed. That bitch bailed. And I took the drink up to the counter and the manager yelled at me, why didn't you drink the drink? I looked at him and I go, well, the customer left. Oh, did he? Yeah, he left. You see, he's gone. Oh, so what'd the manager know? What'd the manager know about that he was pissed off I didn't drink my drink? See, Mr. Perry, $35 million. You can't hide where you spent that money. You don't have a cover-up, and you're never going to get a date with me. You ick and slime, you're crazy all over everybody. And when you mess with me, you get caught. Because somebody somewhere is investigating you. Someone somewhere is going to put you in jail. There was some hope that TPD would provide an assist to get the 5. Because these guys that helped me, that got me the McNamara email and that puzzle, have a lot more on their plate. Can you imagine trying to do what they do for me, for some other women as well, or other people? So the 18th, they wanted me to go out to my family's house. I've not been out there since COVID. I have an older aunt. I have younger cousins, babies. And I'm working in a strip club where I'm interacting with people all the time. People that come in once, I never see them again. We don't know where they've been, what they've got. Now I'm vaccinated. And nobody really got sick out there. We had, if you think about it, we got alcohol that we're cleaning the pole off constantly all night long. And I think actually that's what kept us all safe and well. Nobody really got COVID. So we didn't wear masks. We were out in the fucking, we're not in Tulsa. We don't have to do the mask mandate. So nobody wore masks, and you're right on top of everybody. So it's a strip club. You're giving a lap dance. You're sitting on somebody's lap, and we're washing our hands with alcohol, I think, when you put it on the rag to clean off the pole. So nobody got sick. Either way, I'm not going to risk people get COVID and you can't tell. They don't know. So I'm not going to go out there and get anybody sick unknowingly. So I wouldn't go. Then I got vaccinated, and then I did. My cousin's wife does have a friend named Lisa, and I wasn't sure if that was Lisa Nealer or not. So I'm staying away from her for that period, for a little bit there, till I know for sure. And there was a little more to it than that. I didn't want to talk to anybody in Manford about what was going on. I just tried to. You can compromise the integrity of a case when you start getting around the people involved, or whether they're involved directly or indirectly. It's better if you just stay the fuck away. And that way, there's absolutely no questions on what you said to who. And there's no accusations of tainting a testimony or influencing somebody if you're not talking to them. So there's that. And then my again, Mr. Perry wants to know, did your family rat me out? Well, why are you talking to my family? You're stalking. Okay, the accusations from the beginning are stalking. You are a stalker. You are making unwanted contact with a woman who's asked you repeatedly to stop it in another state, who moved twice. I kept my mouth shut for 4 years. You had 4 years to cut it the fuck out. Then you wouldn't need a cover up now. You've got an imaginary romance. You sit around and you peep and you watch TV like a 1-year-old little girl, pretending. And then you go around and call my family and my friends, and you can't talk to her, and we got a gaslight her. And then you go, who's leaking? Gee, I don't know. You're gaslighting. Could be anybody. Herding cats. You're herding cats. And by the way, I'm not told that. We don't do that, so we don't have to worry about leaks. We don't act like that. Ridiculous. Stupid. And you've been caught more than ever in your life. Because you do. Your gaslighting thing blew up in your face is what happened. So with police, you gotta be trustworthy for people to trust you. Everybody had 6 years when I'm working in a strip club to come talk to me. Everybody had 6 years. I'm right there. And we had a guy go, for 6 years, all we heard was Mr. Perry wanted her to quit dancing, that he thought if she'd quit dancing, she'd come to her senses and fall in love with him. Because it's clear she doesn't like him. And now she quit dancing, and now all we hear is get her back in the strip club so that, she, take all her money, make her go back to dancing so we can get to her again. Because now we don't have access to her anymore. You had 6 years. Anybody could have come talk to me. Anybody could have come built rapport first, and then see if I slip up. See if I let something out. See if I just volunteered up. Nobody did. And it was funny as fuck. It was more important to Charles Perry to make me be broke. To him, his main goal, make her broke. So when she goes into that place, canned food. She might have customers that'll pay her $10,000. Run those guys off. And we'll send our guys in with our little canned food. Starve her to death. Subjugate. Then she'll call me and want to be with me. Oh my God. And I have 2 girls at Godiva's pull me in the bathroom one night, right after I got home from jail. That Perry guy was in here. Motherfucker, what in the world is going on with that? And I'm like, what do you mean? He was in here. They told us, you guys have to make Cynthia not like... Cynthia and Fabian can't care about each other this much because Perry wants her. And she didn't like Perry. So, you guys, it's your job as her co-workers to change that. And if she won't change her mind, we're going to throw her back in jail. And these girls are like, what in the fuck is that all about? What happened to dinner and a movie? If he liked you, why didn't he, do the normal thing guys do when they like somebody? And I'm like, because he's a Looney Tune. Something wrong with him. And I don't like him, and now you know why. He's a weirdo. Come on with this. This is not... I've been around the block, Perry. I've dated a lot of guys. You'll never be one. You gotta be normal to ride this ride. You gotta be smart, and you gotta be normal. I'm not gonna hang out with somebody that has nothing to talk about, but I watched you all... I already know what I did all day. I killed a cop. Oh, yeah. Okay, watch me beat the fuck out of you. I probably would. If I'm sitting across the dinner table with you, and you told me you killed a cop, I'd probably beat the fuck out of you. I'd probably beat the fuck out of you. And you're such a fat, lazy slob, it wouldn't be hard. So, who do you think you're fooling, Mr. Perry? What did you win? What exactly is it that you think you won? Because whatever illegal thing you do in civil court, we're going to get you on that too, and I've said that. I've said it over and over and over. And when you take my money trying to prevent me from being able to meet the demands of civil court rules, we're going to get you on that too, sir. And I've said that over and over and over and over. You act like you just don't get, you just can't, things don't click for you. Because we're having to say the same thing over and over and over, and you just don't get it, do you? What are the outcomes that you want? What are they? Did you want to date? Did you want to lie? Did you want to coerce me into a lie? And I've told you, fuck you, it's not going to happen. Get out of my life. Get out of my face. Don't force me against my will to do anything. I will fuck you up with that so bad you have no idea in your criminal case. Leave me alone. You are not to contact me. You're not to contact me. You're not to peep. You're not to hack. You are not to contact my family. You are not to contact anybody I know. 33,000 emails that I typed up a recording that police played for me, Mr. Perry. And those recordings are not going to be used at a party for entertainment, I assure you. You have no chance of a date with me. And you owe your wife, Jackie, an explanation as to what the fuck is the matter with you. That you would spend a decade chasing a woman that doesn't even like you. Get out of my life. Get off me. Any police, anywhere, when you cover up a crime, the guy's going to keep reoffending. And now you got another one to cover up, and another one to cover up, and another. And he might hit a jurisdiction where somebody goes, yeah, I'm not covering it up here. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to explain that? Chief Miller. Michael Neely. Is that enough? Did I say enough? $300 a year to consumers for every time I've had to file an insurance claim when Mr. Perry fucked with my car. $300 a year per person, covering the cost of insurance claims. Mr. Perry, what in the fuck is your problem? You had better control yourself. You are pathetic. When you do something that's illegal, it's illegal because people don't like it when you do that. And society has said, we're not tolerating that shit. You're going to go to jail. And I know you guys are up on your high horse and you think, oh no, we're not going to jail. We just buy our way out. Some of you Texas people, I don't even, golly, get the hay out of your mouth and learn how to fucking talk right. Get the fucking hay out of your mouth and learn how to talk right. You guys drive us nuts with that shit. We gotta get her back on that pole. What the fuck? Stop talking that way. And leave me alone. Because when you talk that way, when you guys say shit like that, you get caught. Because society says, we're not tolerating that crap. We're not. You go to jail. I don't care who the fuck you think you are. Eventually, you're gonna go too. Because this didn't buy you out of 33,000 emails that you know of where you got caught, did it? Where's the cover-up, Mr. Perry? I think 33,000 emails ought to tell you don't have a cover-up. You don't have one. What fucking planet do you live on? Read the emails. You don't have a cover-up. I moved twice. I've sued you 3 times because I don't like you. I'm beating you off with a legal stick. Mr. Perry, that's what that is. And when you fuck me over in civil court, if it's something illegal, go into court and handle it like a man. A normal court process. A normal court proceeding. Handle it like a dude. I don't have a law degree. You got 5 attorneys, seasoned, and you still got to do it illegally? Thank you for the compliment. Thank you very much for the compliment. That I'm doing that good of a job. It's something I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm doing well enough that you're scared to go in a court of law and face me. You're a coward. You won't face me legit. I screamed and ranted and raved and screamed and ranted and raved for a year. They're not going to let me testify for Mike. They're not going to let me testify for Mike. It broke my heart. Listen, I have to deal with this stuff every day. That I have to hear a recording of these people talking about, let's put somebody, have somebody pull in front of her so she'll wreck her car. It's fucking every day is something. Don't let her make any money. You gotta subjugate. Get her back on that pole. Over and over and over and over. I mean, my God. Can you imagine having to listen to that shit all day and worried you're gonna walk outside your house? You don't know what's gonna happen. I go to my family's house and they got this whole big plan. I understand they worked for weeks on it. And they sat down with my family and here's what you need to say to her. And we need you to get her to say this and we need you to get her to say that. Get her driver's license from her. Well, I'm sorry to my family. My family, if they hear this, I am so sorry that you were put through that. I wish you would have called me and told me. I would have put a stop to it. And I can. I can put a stop to it, and I would have. But you got to call me and tell me straight up. Here's what they're doing. Texas Rangers were involved in that, I heard. Okay, so duly noted, Texas Rangers, you did that to my family, and you don't have the right to do that to my family. There's another police department involved in this. They gave me the McNamara email and the Fabian puzzle, sirs, you guys over there. Look, police are supposed to work together to catch a bad guy, not cover up. If you're corrupt, please get out of law enforcement, because you're ruining it. Now Tulsa police can't recruit. Tulsa police can't recruit somebody because everybody hates the cops. Do you see what you've done? You put your other officers in danger, and that would include Chief Miller. We've heard two different theories here, and I'm not gonna, I'm not able to get into what's gone on here. What I know, that David hired bikers to kill Lucky and frame Mike. Mike just didn't die. They did the same thing to me. Let's poison, and when they don't die, we'll do a false arrest. Because this person knows a little too much about what we're doing in our criminal racketeering, weirdo business. Texas Billionaire Boys Club. We got, the other theory is Texas Rangers that have been covering up for Perry all this time didn't like it that Lucky was doing something. He was out copping you, wasn't he? Oh my God, whatever will we do? We've been out copped. Get out of law enforcement because you're fucking people over, and you're caught. You're caught too. You are caught too, sir. You went over for 3 weeks. You spent, we got to get her to say this. We got to get us to that, and fucked with my family. And I'm sorry about they put my family through that. And I was supposed to go out there, and they were gonna get my driver's license, and they're gonna get me to say this and get me to say that. And we got to trick her into this. And somebody last night, I guess, pointed out to one of them when they're calling to find out who was helping her. Do anybody could do this? I said it's non-traditional. Because Texas Rangers in their uniform and with their training are not getting it done right. They're not catching the bad guy. But we are. 33,000 times. Despite $35 million paid for a cover-up. Despite that. But what I was saying is I have to live with this all the time, right? Okay, so, but I don't cry. I never cry. I go on with my day like, it's routine for me now. And, it's just something I have to deal with until he's in jail. I mean, that's just the way it is. And the more he comes at me, the more he gets caught. So I'm happy to be a part of that. Why wouldn't I be? I'm stopping crime. I'm stopping egregious, disgusting, deeply depraved crime. And my granddad was the chief. I'm happy to be part of his legacy. I'm happy to do it. It's a great honor for me to do that. But I cry over Mike, and I cry over Lucky, and that's about all I cry over. But I cry a lot, almost every day. It's something that just crushes my heart. That anybody would do that is so just not think twice about it. And that there was a lack of police officers coming in that courtroom to stand by him, because that place should have been flooded with Oklahoma cops standing up for him. And but I said forever, they're not going to let me testify, because I know what happened. They're not going to let me testify. And sure as shit, they didn't. And so now, Mr. Perry, just so you know, a reporter called one of my guys and said, if there was any doubt before, you guys were wrong. There's not now. She ranted and raved for a year. He's taking all my money. He's not going to let me testify. He's trying to kill me. He's not going to let me testify. Witness tampering, coercion, racketeering, fraud, perjury, RICO violation after RICO violation after RICO violation. You're fucked. You're caught. You're not loved and wanted. You're a rejected fail every day for 8 years. You have a delusional, imaginary thing in your head that is not real. It's disgusting. You have delusional erotomania. It's disgusting. But we don't even think it's about that. We think it's about you just want a lie. You're fighting for a lie. And you don't have that either. So this reporter says to our guys, if we thought Mr. Perry didn't do it and that you guys were wrong about all this, not now. Now we know they did it. Because she ranted and raved for a year. He's hurting me. He's taking my money. He's trying to coerce me. He's trying to force me against my will to do something or say something I don't want to do. And they're not going to let me testify. And I know what happened. then they're not going to let me say it for him, for Mr. Neely, Officer Neely. And that's exactly what they did. Had she testified and the jury still found him guilty, it'd be different. We'd wonder. But because they did exactly what she said for a year, we know he did it. We know Charles, Dave, those guys did it. And you had 3 choices how to react once I said you did it. Nothing. Be dismissive and don't dignify it with a response. 2, come out and say, we're for police. We back the blue. And clearly Mr. Neely could not have done this. Because if he did the impossible, nobody on the planet has ever done this. While in respiratory distress, unconscious, he's beat someone to death and ended up with not a mark on him. So, I don't want suspicion on me. Let's find out who did it. But you didn't do that either. You witness tampered. You coerced. You harassed. You took my money. I had no electricity for a week. I had no food for a week. Everybody got pissed off at you. And we got more. And more. And more. Because everybody's sick and tired of watching what you're doing to me. The invasion of my privacy. She shouldn't be broke. She's smart. What the fuck are they doing? They're taking all her money and giving her peanuts. Trying to wreck her car. So our shrink, Mr. Perry, went in and said, look, it's not about a romance. He's not in love with her. That's not what this is. Because if you want a romance with somebody, you want that person to like you so that you do what they like. When she hates something he does, like peeping and hacking and taking her money and all that crap, he'll do it more. That's not how you get somebody to like you. It's not about that. This is about subjugation. He thinks he's going to force her against her will to say or do something she doesn't want to do. It's about fighting for a lie and nothing else. Because if he really wanted to date, he would make himself attractive for her. Peeping, hacking, poking, causing a problem. That's not how you do that. That's not how you do that. You go work. She said, the shrink told the judge, Cynthia has said repeatedly, this is what I find attractive in a man, and this is what repulses me. And he does everything that repulses her. And he can't stop. He won't stop. She's asked him repeatedly, stop peeping. Stop hacking. Stop contacting my family. Stop taking my money. And go work. Leave everybody alone. If you care about somebody, have you heard the saying, love isn't love until you give it away? And if it comes back to you, it's yours to begin with. And if it doesn't, it wasn't. You belong with somebody else. I have no interest in a cop killer, Mr. Perry. I have no interest in a sex weirdo. I don't find you one bit attractive. You're repulsive. You're just fucking repulsive. And your mental slow drives me insane. I don't repeat myself, sir. I don't. I've worked with surgeons, elected officials, and strippers. And you're the only person I know that I've had to repeat myself like this. Strippers were on shit. Strippers were on shit. I didn't have to repeat myself. Strippers who didn't finish school. Let me tell you something about strippers. I'm sitting next to one of my girls, and this oh god, now I'm gonna cry. This chick tells me, asked me, how did you start dancing? And I said, well, it's kind of a long story. I don't really want to talk about it. How did you start dancing? She goes, well, so I'm 11 and my mom's on meth, and my dad, I don't even know who my dad is, and so my mom gets a boyfriend and he's molesting me, and my mom's beating the shit out of me, so I just left. And I'm like, you're fucking 11 years old? She goes, yep, I've been on my own since I'm 11. I go, how did you, CPS? And she goes, yeah, I was on the streets for a while, and then CPS got me, and I'm in foster homes for a while, and then that was bad. She goes, let me tell you something about foster homes. They're just as bad as what my house is. People are getting molested. People are getting beaten. People are getting abused in foster homes. It's bad. Like, they're finding people, these families that are shitty as fuck. And it's not a whole lot different than the home that they rip you from. She goes, not that doesn't mean there's not some good families out there, but that are taking kids in, but I didn't get one. I never had that. So I'm back out on the streets by the time I'm 15. I got to eat, and so I did whatever I could to make money, and here I am. And dancing is part of that. Um, sure that she's done some unimaginable things just to eat. She didn't get into that detail with me, but I heard that a lot. There was another girl that would come in, and she would be, I got to take care of my mom. My mom's on meth, and she never gets off the couch. So she lives with me, and I come work and take care of her. Can you imagine? That's your parent. I didn't. I get aggravated at my kids when they complain. My children had no such life. My children had parents, both, parents very, very involved in their school, making sure they were getting their homework done. There was no drugs in my house. There was no alcohol in my house. If I have alcohol, even still, it's to cook with. I don't really drink it much. Once in a while, I think on the 4th of July, I went and got some wine coolers, and I drink. I'm just not a big drinker. It's just not really my thing. So once in a while, I'll drink. And I I I think I went to Hard Rock not long ago and drank. I think I just don't like to drink that much, and it was more so the case when my kids were little. We did things as a family. We my kids wore very name brand clothes, and they were involved in tennis. They were involved in soccer. They were involved in football. They were involved in if the museum had the local museums had any kind of Saturday class. I think they took a forensics class. I think they took a dinosaur class. We lived in Vegas where CSI Las Vegas. I mean, forensics for a while there, that was the bomb. So, in fact, um, I wanted to start a forensics camp, like summer camp, and talked to a friend of mine, and who now they started an actual school, like a magnet school in Vegas, and he works there. So we had talked about that and about doing the camp, and now they have a whole school, magnet school in Vegas doing forensics. Well, why? Of course you would, because the whole forensic CSI Las Vegas forensics was birthed in Vegas. So that was just cool. We watched it being filmed once. It was cool. But anyway, so my kids took. I mean, that's my that life. My kids, they come home and mom's fine, dad's nobody's high, nobody's on drugs. They're in school. My kids were in AP classes or accelerated classes or gifted classes. So we did science fair projects together. We did the whole thing, and the regular June Cleaver whatever kind of almost. And then we'd go to events, and they got to see President Bush, and they got to meet many a congressman too, congressmen and senators also, judges. My kids met those people too. They're with me when I'm meeting them. So they had a whole different life. And so when they complain, I'm like, oh my God, you guys are something. You ought to fucking see what the girls I work with have their life. Their childhood was awful. I mean, awful. And you had no such childhood. And you don't need to complain. So, anyways, a whole another thing. I got off on my ADD tangent for a minute, but policing, you got to clean it up, or nobody wants to deal with police. You can't solve a crime and reduce that. You got to turn your stats into the fucking FBI every year, and you can't fucking solve the crime if nobody trusts you, or gosh, I saw the guy break into the house and I got his plate, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I mean, that's kind of the attitude, and there is extreme. I mean, there's extreme situations where people teach their kids to hate police. To me, that's as bad as terrorists teaching their kids, over in the Middle East to hate Americans. I think it's just that bad. I mean, that is awful. But at the same time, the police can do something to improve that, and you don't. You can't let corrupt guys like Perry. You can't hand a woman's domestic violence police report over to the bad guy. You can't do it. That was so wrong, morally, legally, and I have not made a big deal out of it. But guess what? Some other people are concerned. Why'd you do that? Why'd you let him go? What happened on obstruction of justice and destruction of evidence? Where's my blood test? Where is it? Nobody preserved it. Nobody preserved my blood. What if there's nothing in it? See, if there was nothing in my blood, if they weren't giving me anything, it's kind of like the same thing. Acts showing consciousness of guilt. When you, you know, when you tried to subjugate me after I said I think you guys killed Lucky and framed Mike. Both of us are poisoned. Both of us aren't tested when we needed to be tested. When you could actually get the right result, I'm sorry, not right, but accurate results. Because Mike is tested at the hospital after he's been given Narcan, which the Narcan made him come to. That means it changed the chemical composition in his blood. Now it's different. Had he been tested immediately, you'd had what? How much had he been given? What, you know, what exactly was it? Was it, I mean, where did he get it? Lucky didn't give it to him. There's two people in that room. Lucky didn't give it to him. Somebody came in the room and brought it with them and gave it to him. And then he's passed out, and Lucky's complaining. What'd you give Mike? What'd you give Mike? The stop it, Mike. The stop it was to the offender. Mike was to see if he's okay. He's passed out. The fight was between Chief Miller and the offender at that point. What did you give Mike? There's two of us. This is a pattern now. Once you see a pattern, you can't unsee it. This is your MO. And you're caught, Mr. Perry. Because you fucked with me. I come from police, by the way. What made you decide to pick a police family person and somebody who's a community leader where you lived and you knew had no problem telling somebody off who needed to be told off? I don't care who the fuck you are. My family was the power where I grew up, and I also lived in Vegas. I came here from Vegas, so walk up and down that strip and ask those people who come from all over the country, all over the world. Ask any of them if they give a shit who you think you are. Do you care who I am? No. You know, you got to get off your high horse. My granddad taught us powers in serving others. Service. Jesus did the same thing, didn't he? Washed everybody's feet and said, "This is how you do people. Serve." Because then they start beginning to respect you. They start to begin to appreciate you, and they follow. And then you don't push and shove. It's leading, not demanding your own way and pushing and shoving and coercing and breaking one law after another after another. So Tulsa police, we are, you know, if you had gotten the obstruction, then there would have been no Lucky, dead Lucky, and almost dead framed Mike. And car accident after car accident. Now consumers have to pay individually $300 a year. So, anyways, now, if they had not poisoned me, Drama Queen Perry would have had me made sure I was tested and had a big press conference and said, "We tested her and there's nothing in her blood. See, she lied." But they made sure there was no test. Acts showing consciousness of guilt. Now, Mr. Perry, for the last fucking time, you know, the 18th was a bust because you took all my money. I couldn't afford to go out there. And the same thing with the strip club. You took all my money out of the strip club. And my guy's like, "We're pulling you out because it's increased risk and you're going home with fucking canned food." You know, he's taking your 10 grand and giving you $30. And it's about enough. We've had about enough. It's too dangerous. It made sense when you could come home with some money and you had some come home with evidence like Pinto, Mickey James texts, Pinto recording, Terry Wagner texts. Terry Wagner wants to come into a strip club on the night his wife died. Who the fuck goes in a strip club on the night your wife died? I mean, I don't even have words for that. Like, what the hell? So, they wanted him to get some information, but it turned out we were closed that night. So, now they want me back out there so they can get to me again, because they had 6 years to get information out of me they never got. I'm very good at a sting op, and I guess that's what one of this guys said last night. They're like, could it be her cousin talking? How did she find out every detail we had planned? How did she find that out? Was it her cousin? The guy's like, "I don't think so." And the guy shoots back at him and he goes, "Let me tell you something. You heard of a subconscious mind? She knows how to work a subconscious mind. That's why she's good at what she does. She knows how to do it. Very few people. I've heard 5 people in the country can do what I do. 5. I know 5 people in the country that can do what she can do. And what you do is you let people talk. That's it, really. Just let people hit the play and let them go." And the guy said, "I promise you, if you had her family ask her questions, she's going to know which questions are questions they'd normally ask, and which ones you guys wanted her asked. Because these people, you got to remember, her and her family, they've known each other all her life. They love her. They love her. One of them's going to let something slip subconsciously. It may not be intentional, it might be subconscious, but subconsciously it's going to slip. And she's smart. She knows how to get that out of people. She knows how to ask questions, kind of run a test. She knows what questions that they're going to normally ask her and which questions they're not. So you think you really think that would have worked? I think you're off your nut. I think you don't know what you're dealing with. I think you need to get a grip on reality. I think you need to listen to her interview with Gene Mitchell and Travis Myers. She's a pro. You don't put amateurs up against a pro. She'd have kicked your ass. You better be glad she didn't make it. That's pretty much what he said. Stop wasting my time. Don't call me again. So, what did you win, Mr. Perry? You and your little delusional land watching your TV show pretending with your dolly. You tell me, what did you win? Gold star. We're going to give you a gold star, okay? You're just pathetic. Listen, you're not going to get a date with me. You are not to peep. You are not to hack. You are not to poke. You're not to... When I say poke, that's a metaphor that I had told Dr. Russell. It feels like it's like a kid poking and poking and poking and poking and poking. One problem after another, after another, after another. Get your hands out of my wallet. Don't touch my money again. Don't contact any of my family. Mr. Robertson and Mr. Perry, do not ever again call my family or my friends and tell them when they can see me, when they can talk to me, and what they're allowed to say. Get out of my life. It isn't up to you. You're butting in, and you're gonna, when you do that, you guys get caught. Like last night, have somebody pull in front of her. Like last night, why are you putting amateurs up against a pro and her family? They love her, and she knows how to get that subconscious mind working. So you slip. 6 years in a strip club. That girl came out with all kinds of shit, and they got nothing. 6 years. So, you really think using her family was the right approach there? That is funny as fuck. We laughed our asses off at that. Funny as fuck. Mr. Perry, 33,000 times I typed up a recording of you, and that's not all of them. I don't have time to sit and type up recordings every time you recorded. You or one of your people. What is the Texas Billionaire Boys Club anyway? Huh? Why don't you speak to that? Why don't you go hold a press conference and explain what is the Texas Billionaire Boys Club? Explain to the media how you won. What is it you think you won? Please make sure you show them what you've done all day with your time. Because you're going to need the alibi. And go talk to your wife, because you owe her an explanation. We don't owe you one. You owe her one. Because you've betrayed her. You've betrayed her. I am disgusted by you. I'm repulsed by you. You're not going to get a date with me. And the more you bother me, the more you're caught. Because you piss us all off. So, Tulsa Police, look, I'm all for cops. I argued in my Juice Box Weekly why it's a really bad idea to defund police. And I hate to see that you're having recruiting problems. That's not just Tulsa Police, that's national. But you got to build rapport. You got to build rapport. I'm all for community policing. I think that helps build rapport. People have to be able to trust you. And you don't gain trust when everyone can see you got a bad guy here. You're just letting him run around killing cops. I mean, people aren't stupid. I don't know how else to say this. People aren't stupid. The public is very smart. I think Sean Hannity said that one time when one of the politicians, somebody in D.C., a D.C. politician, thought he was going to get up in line. Everybody would go, oh, okay. And Hannity's like, whoa, holy, stop. The public is not stupid, they're smart. Don't insult us like that. You're a public official. People are entitled to know what you do in your private life. And then they look, you got Buttigieg. He's openly gay. And he's openly gay and he says it. Everybody knows exactly what they're voting for. Everybody has that reasonable expectation of anybody who would run for office is going to be open and honest about what they do in their personal life. And then everybody can decide whether that's something they can get behind or not. You have an obligation to tell people what you do in your personal life. That's the rules. I'm sorry. If you don't like playing by the rules, get out of the game. Get out of the game. But you don't get to get involved in racketeering and fraud and perjury, thinking you're going to get a cover up and elected. Listen, if I thought that you didn't kill Lucky, I'd help you get elected. I'd help you. But I know you did. That's a cop. That's my family. I come from police, 3 generations. And why you guys chose somebody that's worked in DC politics? Very, very, very confident in myself. Very well connected. Who got me these? Who got me that? 33,000 of them. And from police. You picked a victim like that, and you thought you were gonna get away with this shit? Wow, somebody's not thinking. Somebody is not thinking. Somebody's not all there. So, okay, so here's the other thing, Tulsa Police. So, I had to do a project for school, a team building project. It was an assignment for school. And they're asking us to come up with, we have to do like a make believe project and everything. And so mine was on doing community events to improve police relations with the citizens. So one of the ideas that I came up with was like basketball. So they have like Hoops for Hope, where they do basketball tournaments and raise money for something. I think you could. I think actually you could raise money for anything. We did it for a homeless shelter once, and it worked out very well. But basically, working with community leaders, say North Tulsa or wherever you feel like there's need to be improvements on citizen relationships, and you have off-duty officers sign up to play basketball. You get some guys from TU. You get some just people to have a tournament with citizens, and you play basketball. You put it's a 4-man team. You put 2 off-duty officers on a team with 2 citizens, and you get to know people. You're playing basketball with them all day in a tournament setting, and you have people at the event where you got DVIS there. You got people who need to hire people in the community that need to hire, because there's going to be people at a park. It's a park. It's a Saturday deal. You got people there who are. I got a business down the road here. We do. We clean clothes. We got like a dry cleaner over here. I need a guy to help me. Well, it turns out this kid over here wants a job. Give him. And so there you go. This single mom needs a job. There you go. Hook up people like that, and you have mental health people. Here's information on mental health resources in our town. Here's community resource information at people at this event, and that's how you build trust and rapport, and then you start building relationships. You're playing basketball. Don't talk about anything else. Don't talk about another fucking thing. Just play basketball, and let people in the community see that you're a dad. You got kids. You have problems getting your kids out of bed and go to school and get their homework done just like everybody else. Sometimes your kid won't behave just like their kid won't behave. You find commonalities between the two of you, police and citizen. So it's not them against us against them. So I saw the guy rob the house, and I got his plate, but I'm not going to tell y'all what it was. I mean, things like that. We get and then you start building a more positive image. And it's not that hard to recruit then after that. I mean, this is not hard to do. These are things that can be done, and make it fun. And that way, you have to change the problem. You have to, if you're not getting the outcomes that you want, then you got to change your actions, because you can't keep doing the same thing. Insanity is doing the same thing every day and getting expecting different results. It's insane. You have to change your approach. You have to. You don't have a choice. So what happens is these things that are problems bubble up to the surface and then blow. And then you have a corrective event, which is usually an overreaction. Like, let's all defund the police. No, let's not defund them. Let's fix the problems that are inside the police departments. And that's going to take each community doing that on their own. I mean, it's not, it's a national problem, but President Biden or President whoever cannot get up and make a law. I mean, it really needs to be done on a local level. And community policing is good in the way that you get to know, everybody gets to know each other. And then you also have, I can't remember what town I lived in. It might have been Albuquerque, it might have been Vegas, it might have been, um, I don't know. Okay, so what they did is they had apartment complexes that would allow, they would give a police officer a free place to live, but in exchange for that, that police officer had to provide security. So that's another good way. Then you got a police officer at every apartment complex, and that police officer starts to get to know the people that live there, and who's supposed to be there, who's not supposed to be there, which people have problems, which one. My granddad knew everybody down the block. He knew everybody, that guy's, that house has domestic violence problems. That guy has a out of control teenager that shows up sometimes. I got to keep an eye on that. This house, right, here's a car in this neighborhood that doesn't belong here. What are they doing? Scoping it out for a home invasion. I mean, he knew everybody. He knew everything. And that's part of community policing, and frankly, it reduces crime. It just does. I mean, there's a Kansas City thing, I guess, that happened that they didn't do it right, and it didn't turn out right. But when it's implemented correctly, I think it shows pretty good results. So I'm all for it. It's like Mayberry. I mean, it's kind of the concept of Mayberry, with Andy Griffith. When you get to know the people in your community, you know what their strengths and weaknesses are, you know their personalities, you know what they're going to do and not do in any given situation. So that helps prevent. The best time to get a crisis is before it happens. So there's that. Now, I'm ending it like this, Mr. Perry. Cease and desist all contact. I don't like you. You're not loved and you're not wanted, and you don't have a cover up. You're rejected, and you need to get over it, move on like a man. And you have a wife, Jacqueline. You need to be faithful to her, and treat her with dignity and respect, and don't shit all over her by sitting around on your fat lazy ass watching me all day. I don't know who the Texas Billionaire Boys Club are, all of them, but my guys do. You guys leave me alone. Do not ever call again my family. Do not ever call again my friends. And you don't tell people when they can talk to me, when they can see me, or what they can say. Mr. Robertson, get out of my phones, get out of my computer, get out of my life. Cease and desist. And if you want to do something illegal on the civil case, please understand it will be used in a criminal case, okay? You've been told over and over and over and over. So stop. Thank you.